Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue the sample series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com/sample. Today we're going to focus on phrase sampling. So phrase sampling is when we focus on like a meme portion of a song. It's that quotable portion of a song, and we want to chop out the vocals to say something. Now it doesn't always have to make sense what they're saying. So in this case, I created an acapella from a sample from TrackLib. TrackLib is like my new favorite sample digging website. And I created an acapella using Isotope's RX products to isolate the acapella. Now in this case, they do more like this. They don't really have like rap lyrics to quote. That's a cool part we could take. Sugar. That was supposed to be an acapella. I must have saved it as an acapella and didn't do the acapella portion, which is interesting. Anyway. Oh, I know what happened. I did the acapella only for a certain section of the song. That's why it's like half acapella, half not. And anyone you heard, you can see. So let's just chop out. Love is many signs. Love is many signs. So something that's easy to measure. So the signs, okay, that's easy to measure. A lot of vocals are not perfectly on the downbeat. So if you're just listening to acapellas and vocals, it can be a little hard to measure music because you don't sing right on the downbeat. They sing on the in-betweens of the measures. So that's why it's a little more difficult with vocals to figure out where stuff starts and ends. Love is many signs and many faces. Sugar. So we're just gonna take out the key section, so the signs. Many faces. And let's take out faces. Many faces. Sugar. And then sugar. Sugar. Now again, I don't want to be too microscopic in this video because it could take easily an hour to get every little detail that we want. So let's not be too picky here. Sugar. So let's say you just want to take these three phrases and make something out of it. Now I've come to actually prefer the playlist to do this. Usually before I would load these samples up into like the channel rack and do it that way, but it's a lot more tedious and not as visual. So the first thing I would do is give this a tone. So I'm gonna go time. Let's make this unique as sample, okay? Because it's a small chop and I only want the audio to see this. Let's go to stretch mode under audio clips or hit Shift M to turn that on and off. And I need to figure out where I want to stretch it to. Let's just say 1 bar just to be safe because I don't want to stretch it to 2 bars and then it sounds robotic. That actually sounds kind of cool. That actually sounds hilariously cool. So we're going to stretch that out so that it's that long. And let's go to the top left, go to channel settings. Let's go to mode and go to stretch mode. And now what we can do is pull down that pitch to get that same effect. The times, pull it down like. So before we actually had it lower than 1200 cents, which is interesting. So if you put it back to resample mode, you can get that tone. Now it's a tone again, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but I like that tone. Okay. And then I want to go time, faces. Okay, so let's line it up just like some drums. Let's take off time stretch mode for now, hit Alt and just left click and drag this over. Okay, just repeat it. So I just grabbed the right side, left click and dragged it to the left. Hit Shift, grab it over, duplicate it. Now the cool part about vocal chops is you don't always have to time stretch every little detail unless it's really offbeat. So the faces just fits the rhythm. Okay, so let's do time, faces, time, sugar, something like that. So we want the sugar to be fast. So let's hit Alt, left click and drag it in. Make sure it starts on that section. And here we want to go to stretch mode, make this unique as a sample. So we're only stretching just this. Hit Alt, and now we're time stretching it to fit this section. So I kind of want to purposely make it faster. Now it's going to sound. So it goes sugar. So it's not fast enough. We need it to go like do 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 do. So this section here, we can either chop it with the slice tool, hit Shift Alt, left click and drag, and then you can left click and just drag this to the beat to where it fits, instead of trying to force the whole thing to fit right there. So that's one way you could do it. Let's see what this sounds like. So it's like sugar. It's kind of like forced together, but this way it doesn't sound too fast as a whole thing. Where'd the other? I lost this slice. I guess I didn't lose it. Okay, let's go to channel settings. Let's go to mode, stretch mode. And now we have control over that pitch. All right, so here we go. So now what we can do is route all this stuff to one channel specifically. All right, highlight all this stuff. We can right click, route to this track only. All right, so now you can add effects and do a bunch of stuff. So that's phrase sampling. From this point, you would just add drums underneath and just make it your own. So I wanted to keep this video short to the point. Let's continue the sample series. Next up, we got how to use Isotope, RX to make acapellas and do different things. I'll see you in the next one. How to isolate instruments. Peace.